Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting Thursday Live celebrating World Youth Skills Day. I, Bhavna Venkatraman, and my co host Kala Sadasivam would like to extend a warm welcome to our viewers and our speakers on behalf of Wiki Karnataka Human Resource Council.
Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening. Wiki Karnataka Human Resource Council is part of Wiki, a national business chamber whose endeavor is to boost and build women's entrepreneurship and businesses through greater engagement with government, institutions, global trade, and networks. It is present at about 120 countries with a collective strength of about 250,000 members. Wiki Karnataka Human Resource Council is an ambitious initiative headed by Shikha Gupta as president and Rani Srinivas as vice president, with a team of accomplished women from diverse organizations and various walks of life to create a platform where women strive to make a difference. It touches upon pertinent topics, current events, sensitive issues, and much more.
So today is World Youth Skills Day, and we celebrate the importance of equipping young people with skills for employment, entrepreneurship, and decent work. With the pandemic impacting employability, mode of education or training, and economic growth, the youth specifically have had to transition to a more resilient, creative, and sustainable mode of education and working. In this context, we have with us today a group of four bright, energetic youngsters who have pursued or are pursuing their education, work, and their passion in varied fields, and they bring diverse experiences. So we look forward to them sharing their journey and what changes they have seen during the pandemic. Our first speaker for today is Inchara. Inchara Narayan is a 19-year-old national athlete who has represented Karnataka in open water championships as well as aquathlon. She is also parallelly pursuing a degree in electronics and communication engineering. Inchara started her swimming journey at the age of 11 and has participated in several state as well as national championships. She bagged the gold medal at the Open Aquathlon National Championship at Kolkata in 2019. She has won the gold medal at the National Open Water Championship in 2020 in the women's 10K event. Apart from this, Inchara has also won medals at the ICSE state and national meets in 2018 and 19. She wishes to pursue her dream of representing her nation in the women's 10K swimming event. A warm welcome to you, Inchara.
The next person that we have is Shashwat Srivastava, who is an advocate, human rights law network. After completing his LLB, Shashwat worked on prevalent issues related to migrant workers, Dalits, transgenders, climate change, and reproductive and sexual health rights. He joined human rights law in Patna and has fought several landmark cases for climate change, minorities, and transgenders. He's currently working on projects by European Union and is the Assistant Project Coordinator of the Climate Justice Initiative, which is ongoing in 7 states in India. Shashwat co-founded Janman People's Foundation to amplify the impact of his interventions in society. Shashwat's wish is to work on the intersection of law and policy making to bring substantive, positive, and constructive changes in the country as well as across the globe. Welcome, Shashwat.
Our third speaker is Shreya Bajaj. Shreya is a marketing professional currently working at Coaster, a new age technology company which aims to disrupt the travel and mobility space. She heads the social media design and content development. Shreya is a WBS scholarship holder and has completed a master's in marketing and strategy from Warwick Business School, UK. She's passionate about sustainability and is incorporating practices in her life and around her to reduce carbon footprint and go plastic free. Welcome, Shreya.
The next speaker that we have is Shaurya Roy, a PhD scholar and co-founder of Janman People's Foundation. He is a PhD candidate at Delhi School of Social Work. He is a co-founder of Janman People's Foundation and has launched several campaigns for the marginalized community. Some of his endeavors are Project Boond for menstrual hygiene, Project Sahil for Bihar and Assam food relief work, and most recently, COVID relief campaigns such as providing oxygen concentrators across India, running ambulances, and oxygen support for economic weaker section. And as we speak today, he's still working on some initiative and he's taking the call from his car. So you can imagine the way that he works for. So welcome, Shaurya. Now, we have such a great panel with us, young people who are doing varied initiatives. Each of you have come with some varied experiences and pursuing a profession or interest that you're passionate about. The youth of today wants to know, what is it that is driving you to do this? How has your education or training helped you to pursue whatever you're doing in life today?
Kala, you did an Arnab there.
I just tried to be a bit funny. So can we start with Inshira?
Yeah. So I'm a national level swimmer, as you said. Swimming is something that I just love to do, and I'm so passionate about it that I've given my heart and soul to the sport for almost 9 years now. And what is really motivating me is I don't think there's any bigger pride than representing your country and winning. So yeah, that's what motivates me.
And Shashwat, what do you have to say on this?
I think the place I hail from, that is Bihar, it has a lot of social engineering too, which we witnessed while growing up. And then I went to college. At that time, I studied humanities, and that developed my mental faculties a lot about sensitizing myself about the social and economical as well as political issues. So that has certainly shaped up my ideas, and that is what driving me today to work in the direction which I am doing currently.
And Shreya?
So I would say that the ability to learn and the passion to create useful and meaningful content for people is something that really drives me in my field of work. And from the beginning, I've always been like a problem solver and a creative person. So marketing obviously was one of my topics when I started off, and the passion really translated into my professional expertise as well. So that's what is for me.
Good. And Shaurya, what about you?
Hello. For me, actually, I would say there are two streams which pushes me to work on what I'm working. Particularly, mostly my work is focused on field. I am more of a field person. So while working on field, we come across many good Smartians who, with their limited resources, with their limited access to education, they are also willing to help and support those who are in need. So their commitment is something which fuels my passion to do the work which I am doing. And second, most important thing is the indomitable spirit of those who we try to reach out to. Their strength to fight the adverse situation pushes me to work as much as I can for them. Right now, while we are speaking from digitally, we are interacting. People back in my home state, Bihar, they are battling floods of uh, magnified proportion. But still, when we go to help them to support them, they their strength, their passion and just to fight against all adversity is something which fuels me, which pushes me to keep doing what I'm doing.
So, Kala, as we see, formal education is something that obviously each one of them is focused on, but most of them have been driven by some other, some background, some experiences, some other skills, right?
Yes,
And
yes, very much.
That's great. So, the pandemic has been obviously quite a change for all of us. So, how have you all had to adapt to this change in your work, maybe in your education, and what changes did you have to make? And any skills that you feel you had to enhance or develop, or even maybe learn newly? So, Shreya, how about you?
So I think everybody on the panel as well as the viewers would agree when I say that 16 months back, none of us would have even imagined that our life would have changed completely. And we have all had our own mechanisms and methods of dealing with it. I, for certain, had to develop and adapt to a lot of things to, adapt to the so-called new normal that we are living in today. The first skill that I really had to polish or develop is time management. Because we were also conditioned to have a certain routine, wake up, go to work, and if you're from Bangalore, obviously leave office on time because you don't want to get in traffic, or you don't want your Uber driver to cancel your trip. So we've been conditioned in a way that we have to step out, follow a routine. But when things came home, the boundaries started blurring, and there was no clear cut way of differentiating work and non work related stuff. So I think creating a routine really helped in those days, saying that I would focus only X number of hours on work and then use the X for, doing the other stuff, which is my passion, my creativity, and also, spending time with family. So that's something that really took some time to develop because of the new digital age. The second one is online ethics. I think, once I don't think I would have had the weirdest dream that I would be attending my friend's bridal shower online, or even doing an online wedding or birthday parties. But somehow all that is a reality for us. And that's kind of going to be what it is for the next few months or years at least. So being very wary of the new changes, the new environment, and kind of adapting to and changing your behavior to that was something, again, I had to inculcate in me, small practices like putting yourself on mute when you're not speaking, or putting your phone on silent during meetings, or even decluttering your environment so that, it doesn't look suffocated, during video call. This something, that came with practice. And the third one being digital detox, right? We are called the tech savvy generation for a reason. We get hooked on to digital media very fast. And that happened again, in the initial few months when we were working from home. Addiction to OTT platforms, spending so much time on social media. So really trying to balance out what you have to read versus what you want to read is something, that I was battling it for quite some time. But again, practicing exercises, or even taking like a health membership really helped me, and that's how I've kind of adapted in the last few months.
It's great. How about you, Shaurya? The kind of work that you do, being on the field, there must have been a lot of changes that you would have to make to your routine.
Yeah, so actually, while we started our relief work, it was the same time when my PhD also started. It commenced at the same time, and almost at the same time, particularly during the second wave of the lockdown. So yeah, adapting to the virtual world for someone who is mostly on field or on ground. So doing everything, managing most of the thing or coordinating if 70% of our work online was a bit of challenge, and particularly regarding for such kind of thing you need to engage with most maximum number of people. So it was earlier very easy to directly meet, make them understand the situation, or do the collaboration, etc. So we had to focus mostly on designing our proposals, or largely on the communication channel. It should be we tried our best to make it very quick and more appealing. Most of our skills went most of our new skills, if you would say, uh, went towards uh, towards sharing our situation, or towards engaging most of them in a better way, rather than, because it was very difficult. And second most challenging thing was to convince the family of our on-ground volunteers. At the time, no one was advising anyone, and no parents would want their children to go on ground and help migrants catch their bus or feed the homeless. So it was really very, you may say, it was very confusing for us also. We needed people. They were also willing to join. So few other changes, like we asked few of our friends to lend their flat or one floor, where those volunteers who had senior citizen back at their home would not go back after doing extensive field work, at least for 7 days or 8 days. So these little changes were something which this lockdown changed this kind of thing for us largely.
Okay. So a lot of adaptability I can see, right? Common,
Yeah.
one of the common things that are coming out from discussion here. Okay, great. Inshita, how about you? You're pursuing your education and your swimming. How's it been for you?
As far as swimming is concerned, staying fit was the biggest challenge. And in a time when everyone turned home bakers, it was really a tough thing to do. We just searched up some exercises online and just tried to remain fit. And as far as my college classes turned online, it was really difficult to, concentrate for a 45-minute class online, and learning really took a back seat. And labs and all were really affected, and even peer-to-peer communication. So I think in the overall development of a college student, it really affected that.
Okay. And, anything that you felt, obviously there was a change for you, but anything that you have done which helped you deal with this in a better way?
I think, like as Shreya mentioned, we had a very strict routine and everything was disrupted. So creating a schedule when there was no schedule, it really helped. Yeah.
Okay. Great. What about you, Shashwat?
As a lawyer, I think a lot of things changed. I mean, judiciary is a very traditional setup we see today. And when we were forced to go for e-filings and appearing in the virtual courts and exhibiting our court crafts there, that was a real challenge. I mean, there was so much to pursue a judge or a justice. So I think learning the court craft in a virtual courtroom was a big challenge, which we eventually adapted to. And but it brought a very hybrid situation for us, where we could now practice across the country. Right now, as you can have mentioned, that I'm in Hyderabad, but still I can take up my cases back in Patna. So that was one thing, e-filing and introduced to virtual courtrooms. We adapted quickly, but it was completely new to us and to the judges as well. I mean, it is one of the most traditional setup when you talk about Indian judiciary. So that was a great adaptability, you can say, in that direction. And networking, I mean, in terms of field work and relief work, I think the way social media, the role it has played has been very crucial, very vital. The way we were able to amplify, someone sitting in Bombay was able to help someone in the remote village of Bihar. So and we were able to reach out to the government officials as well. So that was something we learned, and we just the whole social media become a SOS platform, and all of us, I think, all of us sitting here, we participated in that, and we some or the other helped someone, and that is something we're really proud of as a collective, human being. That is what our imagined reality stands, that we are able to help across the globe now.
That's
Oh my God, we
really
really
inspiring.
learned so much. We actually learned so much because, I mean, this situation has really made us, I mean, if I can say, invented so many new things of how you have to go about certain things which we never even thought of. We would be doing that earlier. I would, Shauri, I would just like to know, I'm sure, there are many youngsters over here who are very passionate about social causes. They would like to contribute, especially during the COVID time. We saw that there were so many of them who pitched in for helping people who were COVID affected or providing them with some provisions, etc. In that way, I'm sure there are so many passionate youngsters who would actually like to do some kind of a social work, but they don't have a formal backing for them to do it. Maybe informally they're doing it, but they don't have something which is really formal. What would be your advice to these youngsters as to how they can go about it if they're really passionate about any cause which they are wanting to take up?
First of all, I would say that it is very important for an individual to identify themselves with one particular social cause. It usually comes through lived experience, or through knowing someone who is suffering from some or some setup is suffering because of any social crisis. So once an individual identifies that the cause of street animal is something which they are close to, or they want to work on domestic violence or on menstrual health, etc. uh, it goes, the first step regarding this is to to know or learn or do some basic research around these issues as much as they can. And second most important thing is to make themselves part of the governance, which I think around 62.5% of our population, of our country's population, is in the age group of 15 to 59 years, the largest demographic dividend in the world. So if such young population ca- just keeps on criticizing or develops a cynicism around the governance, that something is being done, or the health infrastructure is in such a bad state, etc. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying that you should not criticize government. As a responsible citizens of any country, it's our responsibility to bring out flaws of the governance or the system. But at the same time, to be of use, or to provide imminent crisis, is something which can be done. And during this COVID pandemic, it is something which the power of social media, as Shashwat was saying, is something which you don't need to step out from your house, but still you may provide help to someone or to other. And then I would say there are multiple platforms right now in every state, in rather every district of this of our country, where the youth collective or the youth organizations are working together to
I think we're not able to hear, or
I think we lost Shaurya.
We
yeah,
lost
we're not able to
Shaurya.
hear Shaurya. Yeah, might be
Okay.
Bhavna, you can ask. Yeah,
Maybe,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're not
So,
able to hear
while we
that.
wait for Shaurya, yeah. So,
Back, yeah.
Shreya, you've got a scholarship, and then you went and pursued your higher education abroad, right? Now, formal education, typically we've seen everyone has a formal education, then they apply overseas and they get through. But if you were to, advise youngsters who want to pursue their education, higher education, or looking at their first job without any prior experience, what would be your advice?
Right. So I think I want to start off by saying that there's no fixed roadmap that one can travel, and you really can't copy paste somebody's journey and make that your own, right? It all begins with your passion and where your interest lies. But the main important thing here is whether you want to, take up your next, your first job or go for a higher education. It's very important to build a portfolio. I know there'll be a lot of people now who will ask that, are you talking bizarre stuff? Because we're just out of college, right? We do not have any prior experience. So how can you ask us to build a portfolio? So, I mean, I would like to say that there are a lot of things that you can do even without having like a formal professional background. You can build a portfolio. Like, for example, we have a lot of opportunities in the university to be a part of various committees, to become a member or to take up internships or projects. And now with the digital world opening up, you have so many opportunities to upskill yourself, do certifications or online courses. Or it can also be something as simple as pursuing your hobby or interest. Because what I've seen is that your employer, or those who are going to look at your application, they want to see things that are beyond your grades. They want to know who you are in reality, what your passions are, what motivates you, and how you are willing to make a difference in any field that you want to apply. So doing those few things, you can really amp up your portfolio, and you can differentiate yourself from the others. Because like you rightly said, everybody who gets out of university does the same number of courses, right? So what will differentiate you from an XYZ are those things that I mentioned: an internship, a project, a certification, or even in pursuing your passion. And two skills that I would really want to point out here is being open to learn and being open to feedback, something that comes up only with practice. But I think if you have that willingness to accept feedback in a positive way, as well as you're interested to learn something new, I mean, it's going to be a easier sale for you, rather than just trying to figure out last minute on what you want to do. So I think that would be my advice, right? Be open to learn, be passionate, and build your portfolio.
Great.
Yeah, it's really nice. Well, Inchira, now you're pursuing your degree, that is engineering, and also you are pursuing swimming, and both are equally tough. I'm sure you need a lot of time for both. And what is it that didn't make you, like, I know of many, who give up either on one. Either they'll give up on the studies and say we'll do it later, or we'll give up on the sport. I'm sure you would have also come to such kind of a crossroad where, maybe you would want to give up, but then you still continued with it. So what is it that made you, continue with both? And also, you can just tell us a little bit about your medals that you won, because that's a real proud moment for all of us. And you can just give us a little bit of information about the medals that you have won.
So the first challenge that I faced was my 10th board exams. I could have easily quit swimming and just focused on my studies, but then I didn't want to, I've been training so hard for all these years, and I've put in so many hours every single day, and I didn't want to give it up just for one exam. And it's not that I didn't focus on my studies. I did pretty well there too. And then after my 10th, people said that if you take a science stream, you won't be able to continue swimming. But then that's so not true, because I did it. And even during my 12th boards, the same way I managed my 10 boards, I just balanced both studies and swimming, and focused a little less on swimming, but didn't quit. And swimming through engineering is really tough, but I think time management is the key here. And if you really have that passion to continue your swimming, you'll certainly be able to find the time and adjust even through all your busy schedules. I won the national gold medal last year before the pandemic hit. It was in the women's 10K open water event. And before that, I've taken part in aquathlon nationals. I won the silver, which in 2019 held at Kolkata. And before that, I've taken part in several ICSE tournaments. I even won the individual championship and won gold, silver, and bronze in the in the national meet. And I also took part in the school games held at Delhi.
It's a real, we really feel so proud that you're there with us in the panel. And I'm sure there are many youngsters who are going to, learn from this so that they can follow both their passion and their studies simultaneously.
Great. So, Shashwat, you're a law graduate, and then in the field of human rights and policy making, you could have easily probably pursued a career in civil or criminal, or the usual streams that one a lawyer would pursue, right? But at an early age, you've kind of ensured that you're clear on what your path is, and you're pursuing this as a career. So is it that you were introduced to something? Was it, during your education, any training? Can you tell us a bit more about your choice of career?
Well, the social background obviously had a big role to play, but all these potential was capitalized when I was doing my undergraduation at KMC, University of Delhi. There we joined this something called a national service scheme, and through that we were engaged in community development a lot. We were like very actively involved. We networked across the college, across different departments, and we carried out several campaigns. And that another part which played a huge role was the student activism. That made us very aware about the issues, and that was something which I was exposed to during my undergraduation. And then after that I carried on to pursue law at the very same university, where I was introduced to human rights, and that is where the real amalgamation happened, where I decided to go back to my home state and then practice law there, and contribute my bit to it. And then human rights law network also happened to me, and all of this, capitalized in a very good way, which helped me a lot. And then we also co-founded Janman last year. So all these things, a college time had a good college phase was a good phase too for me, which equipped me with a lot of things, a lot of learnings, a lot of developments, and a lot of sensitization. I would say I just put emphasis on the word sensitization. I think that was the most important thing, which was which I got equipped with. So that helped me a lot.
Okay. Okay. And you feel that while you yourself took an initiative and you were involved in so many activities, do you feel that on-the-job training could have probably helped, or what's your view on the-job training?
I think on-the-job training is something I think we should curate our curriculum in a way where on-the-job training should be a must. I mean, I could say that at our university, I think we had a curated curriculum in a way. We were actively engaged throughout, like through NSS or through, we were very actively in other extracurricular activities as well. So it was part of our different societies were there. However, that could be formalized more, and on-the-job training, I think it is a must for each and every student. It can equip each and every individual in a very efficient and effective way. For example, I think every lawyer could be a human rights lawyer. All you need to do is you need to do your bit. It is nothing you have to go out of the way and do something which is going to some rocket science thing. No, it is just part of the law. It is just like you have to just look around yourself. You have to just look who needs help. I mean, that help, that humanitarian attitude or behavior is going to be to make you a human rights activist. That's all you need, or maybe an environmental or sustainable development activist. So I think on-the-job training can equip so many individuals. I think the whole workforce can come to rescue this whole world. I mean, that is a must, I would say.
Like while you were speaking about on-the-job training, what I would want to know is, during your formal education, either was it when you were in school as well as Inshira when she's still studying in college, do you think that apart from academics, there should be some kind of skills that should be added to the curriculum that would have really helped the three of you all in your jobs? And you can say, Inshira, for your for pursuing your swimming as well as in any other activities, do you think there should have been some skill sets that should have been added to the curriculum? Maybe we can go with Shreya first.
Yeah, I think I completely echo with Shashwat when he says that it's like a must. And I would say let's be a little realistic because of our population size as well as knowing how the curriculum is in Indian universities and colleges. I think there is opportunities that are provided, but it's totally up to us on how we grab it. We do have a lot of fests and co-curricular stuff that everybody can take part in any university, but it again lies on how we want to utilize it. But yes, I think the only ask or the only wish that I have is if we had more chance to use a theoretical knowledge in a practical format, because I think that's something that's limited in our curriculum currently. It's just emphasis on exams, but I really would love for it to become more practical, and that would open doors to a lot of skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, time management, prioritization. So if that happens, then a lot of skills will fall into place. So that's my only wish actually for the next gen and the next curriculum, that there's practicality in what you teach and it shouldn't be age old.
Shaurya, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I think whatever work I could do through Janman or whatever relief work we have been able to do, that is largely because of on-the-job training, which thankfully I had in while I was pursuing my masters at the University of Delhi. So in my case, for example, the kind of work I am doing, the kind of engagement I have with very types of and numbers of people across our country, it I wouldn't be able to do had it not been the fieldwork training which we were going through two days per week. So our curriculum was designed in such a way that we were taking classes for 4 days, and for 2 days we were just getting to do our fieldwork either in the open community setup or through some agency or whatsoever. Second most important thing regarding, as Nashwat was also saying, through the number of societies. If there is no particular on-the-job training, the societies of the universities or at school level, clubs at school levels, and societies at university level should be very rich, and the faculties and the parents both must encourage their children to take maximum participation in through these societies. And I would again say that for whatsoever I am doing, even my clarity of doing PhD, my clarity of choosing the topic of my research has only been because of the kind of on-the-job training I literally had while I was doing masters in 2017. So I have, I'm very thankful for this, and I would want each and every university. I know it is somewhat impractical, but to an extent, I can say that through this new education policy, the government is through NEP trying to engage some of the kind of on-the-job training or community service, etc., etc., in the curriculum. So I'm really hopeful and looking forward to such thing.
So, Inchira, what would you say? Like, do you think that there should have been something that should have really helped you if you would have learned it and along with your academics?
I think when I was in school, sports should have been given more importance, because it's not just about staying fit, but you also learn a lot of things, like, coming back from failures, or how to build your confidence, and also how to stay focused and so work really hard towards a particular goal. And I just felt that it should have been given more importance at school levels. Because these students also are your prospective students who represent the country and in Olympics or world championships, and that's the ultimate goal. So I think that should be given more importance.
Shashwat, apart from you did mention about on-the-job training. Apart from on-the-job training, do you think there should be some skill set that could have been added along with your academics?
Certainly, and I mean, I second Inchara on that. That sports something should be on the center of our education system, because it teaches you so many things. I mean, punctuality, discipline, leadership, decision making, everything in a nutshell. If you're engaged in any particular game, but apart from that, I think life skills are something which we should look forward to curating in our curriculum at a very early age. I think new education policy promises that, where certain life skills and vocational skills will be taught to students in the coming times. So looking forward to that. And but I think these life skills and vocational skills are very important. For example, like I talk a lot about intergenerational equity whenever I meet with these young people. I interact with students in school a lot, and I always tell them, because these are urban kids, I tell them we have become mass consumers, and that predominantly what human beings are, because what the evolution of human being has happened because we were always creators. So creating is like it is a not creating something on digital media, but creating something in real. I mean, you can just create some microgreen. You can uh, focus something like sustainable living in your backyard. You can grow some vegetables, some leafy vegetables or something. You can create something. You can maybe do some pottery or something like that, which involves you in creating something, because that thing is very important, where you can get attached to something which you're creating. It builds patience inside you. It builds how you are taking care of things, how you're not abusing things. We when we have so much of abundance around us, we mostly abuse. Like we see our natural resources, what we have been doing. Now we are like, okay, now the petrol prices are going up, we need to check our consumption. But that is not the case. So I think that is going to mark a very considerable and remarkable change in our behavioral aspects.
I really hope the learning institutions were listening to this. They have got a first-hand information as what is actually needed by the youth for today.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So, while we're, to continue, and I think just to kind of end this session as well, if I were to ask each of you all, right, what are the three skills that you feel have become even more important today post COVID, and would possibly be needed going forward as well? It could be something new, it could be something which was already a skill that one was using and it had to be enhanced. But if you were to just name three skills, each of you all, what would it be? So maybe Shreya,
Yeah,
top three
I
skills.
think the three skills that I think that every millennial or youth should possess is first is the cognitive flexibility, or we call adaptability. I think it's safe to say that we've been in the biggest human experiment that the world has ever seen in the last 16 months, and we've all tried to do our best to navigate through it. So it's very important that when things settle down, we adapt to the environment accordingly. We do not lose to the fact that we might meet people, so we need to know how to adapt to that situation as well. So adaptability is key here. The second one is empathy. I think we've seen that a lot, and my co-panelists have also highlighted examples on how the world has come together to help each other. So I think that it shouldn't stop here, but it should only continue to grow from here. And we just do not have to help each other, but we also have to be very cognizant of our actions on the environment, because we have to live with the environment for the next, hopefully, hundreds of years. And we need to do our bit, in our daily actions to protect it. And being a marketer, I cannot emphasize enough on the importance of communication and interpersonal skills. So those three would be my skills.
Great. How about you, Shashwat? Three top skills as per you.
For me, on the top, I would keep sustainable living. I mean, this is one skill we should be looking up, seeing the situation and the climate change issues and challenges which are facing, and keeping the intergenerational equity in mind. Like down the line, 10 years, 20 years, it is going to be really tough. Second skill which I want again is with hovering around the climate change and environmental perspective is coexisting skills. I mean, we should learn how to coexist with the flora as well as fauna. I mean, the trees, the reptiles, the animals. I mean, we coexist together. So it is very important that we learn. That is how we are gonna save this planet. And in the Friday for Future campaign, we say there's no planet B, for us as well as for them. So that is very important. And third, which I just discussed, being creator. Being creator is not a digital content creator, but being creator is creating something tangible, something, maybe creating your own food, being creating some, maybe a table for yourself or something, but creating something in your life where you can learn a lot. That the process of creating is itself a very learning curve. So these three skills, I think I would say one could take away from today's session from my side.
Beautiful. How about you, Inshira?
I think first would be being tech savvy, because everything happened online last year, and even now it's continuing to be. So I think that's a really important skill. And being innovative and creative, like Shashwat said, like it could be being creative, like how you would spend your time, because we had so much time and we didn't really think about what we would do. So you could get really creative with your time and pick up new skills. And I think I don't know. I think just these two skills.
No problem. What about you, Shaurya?
For me, first, I would say about the networking skills, particularly in these times, networking through social media or whatsoever communication challenges with someone. We saw that through networking, through just basic networking and connecting, and weaving network across districts, across states in this country, people were able to save thousands of life, and try to bring some some coordination in the otherwise chaotic situation which we saw particularly in the second phase. So first for me is networking. Second, I would say is some skills to be compassionate about mental health of an individual as well as of your co-workers or your co-volunteers or your family members, etc. Which again, this pandemic, it highlighted that what importance it is to just be a good lending here to someone, and that is why through Janman, during the first wave of lockdown, we initiated a Let It Out campaign, where young students and trained psychologists, where we brought them together, and we provided a platform where from children to senior citizens could just speak their mind, speak their heart out. And third, I would say the information and technology skills, which again, after like the skills through which we are interacting right now, or these three skills like networking, information technology, and about looking after and being compassionate about and empathetic about others' mental health, and as well as one own mental health. So these three skills, I think, I would like to highlight.
Great. We're going to make a word cloud of all these skills. I think it's amazing. Very different. And thank you so much for sharing this.
Well, it's been such a session of learning, you can say, because it's not that we're learning from the youth. I mean, it always was we learn from the elders, but here we are actually learning from the youth and the youth of today. We've learned so much. There's so much of unlearning for people like us to do and learn so many new things. And of course, with all these things that you all have said, that, cognitive skills, tech, being networking, coexisting, learning to do something yourself, creating something, and, it's really good. And we really thank you wholeheartedly from Wiki Karnataka that, you have taken time out of your, I'm sure, busy schedules. I can see Shaurya's in the car, and even the others must have taken some time out from their work, and even Enchira taking time out from her practice or from her studies and spending time with us and giving us so much of an insight of what is today and how we have to handle things at this time of the pandemic. So wishing you all the very best in whatever you all are doing, and be safe, be happy, and God bless you all. And we are signing out from Wiki Karnataka. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Interacting with each of you all.